It's just taking a while.
Deze is hartstikke awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. Welcome, everyone. This is going to be a great show. And as you see, we have two of the best martial artists, coaches, and promoters with us right now, Don and Christine Rodriguez. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Great to be back.
Pleasure to be
Yeah, I was
here.
going to say, don't call it a comeback.
That's right. We've enjoyed having you guys with us the past 3 years. And so excited to, share with everyone just what you guys do and why, I feel like the Ocean State continues to grow each and every year. And why, if someone hasn't decided yet to come, you still have time.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. So again, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. Did I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. 4th, 5th, and 6th, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday is our underbelts. I tell you, man, just this tournament runs so great. That's one of the things that I feel like for me with the event, the way, the tournament is separated different things, but somehow you guys just make this run so smooth. And so let's talk about that just on the team that you have to run this tournament each and every year.
Well, Ronnie and Eric, of course, help out a great deal, but just trying to get everything organized ahead of time, going in, seeing if divisions have to get moved, if they're too big in certain rings. And we don't really do the sessions. We just try and get everyone started at 9:00. I know some events do the seniors at 8 or different sessions. And we just try to get it running right from the beginning. And, just a great team. We also have, our local people with Don's son Christopher and Steve Kemp and some other people that help coordinate and get everything rolling. So,
Yeah, and we have a lot of the Crane organization is our organization that we usually use here. They show up and they work hard all over. You know what I mean? So we're fortunate to have that.
Yeah, one of the cool things for me is when I go in there and I see Chris in there ready to work, and I know, all right, we're going to get this thing going. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to see him there and around and in it because I think it's great to have someone like Chris in that role because he's one of us, right?
Right.
He's a high level competitor. So he knows what people are thinking, feeling, and want to experience as well. So while there can be so many of us, I mean, nobody's in that role that doesn't know, right? So I don't want to poo-poo and make it sound like, oh, if you're not like that, then you don't know, because that's not the case. But it is a little different when you were a high-level competitor, right? There's a different experience that you have as well, and he has that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been times. Of course, Christopher and even Steve Kemp, I know you guys probably don't know him as much as some people do, but Steve actually won a Waco silver medal in the heavyweight division some years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he's been a black belt of mine. He started when he was a white belt. He's been with me for over 30 years. You know what I mean? So these guys here have been around me. They've been very well groomed, but Christopher, there's been times where Christopher comes over, or even Steve Kemp for that matter, they come over and say, hey, this guy in this corner over here, we got to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Because as a competitor, he knows, you know what I mean? And it's always good to have that, always good to have that.
Yeah, and I think the ones that are high-level competitors, again, obviously they make good coordinators. They also make great promoters. You guys, it's, I'm doing my first tournament again in like 7 years in June. And already I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just can't let this thing be like small, you know. It's like even though my plan was to make it small, and it's like, just get my feet wet, but it's like we're always wanting to make it just a little bit, because we know what it feels like. We want that customer service, and what can we do to make it fun? And I see that with you guys each and every year, like how can we level this up? How can we grow the sport, right? So let's get right into it about, the $10,000 and the event that has grown each and every year for the past 3 or 4 years, and now we got 10K for men and 10K for women. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Christine's the one. Some years ago, she said the women just don't show up. If we had more women show up, we would give them more money out. So the following year, we almost doubled the amount of women, and we made that announcement at night that, you know what, we're going to start giving out big money now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Maggie is the one that says, you know what, I want them to have the same amount of money as the men do. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to refuse it. It's not coming to us, but it's certainly going to make some women happy about it. And just the idea of them being, how can I say, just as important as the men. I think that's a good statement to make,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, $10,000 for the men's, sponsored again by Ocean State Collision Center and the Zangari family, and now $10,000 for the women as well, sponsored by Female Fighters Matter too. So it's going to be some hefty competition, I think, and that's what is so exciting. And we have that main stage, and we really like featuring that open weight division up on stage. And I was looking at the numbers and the time frame, and I'm like, God, if we do the women on stage, which I'd love to do, if we did them after the men, I mean, the men's forms aren't going to start until God knows what time, So I'm like, so we decided to move the women's open weight to 2:00, even though all open weights start at 3. We're going to move the women. It's just an hour. I don't think it's going to be a major issue for people. Try to do it at 2:00 on stage so they can get highlighted and featured up there and showcased and live streamed, and then go into the men's at 3:00. So that is our plan. So hopefully everything goes smooth with that.
Sometimes we don't realize actually how well organized our sport and activity is, because for so many of us as participants, we primarily see us and we see the flaws, right? So sometimes it's hard for us to see what successes can be in a comparable sport and activity, but sometimes we don't really see like how well we have it in a comparable sport and activity. As you might guess, I got a comparison. Let's check this out, right? Because I want to give kudos to you, what you guys are doing, your the organizational skills, and really our sport. Okay, all right. I also own a design and remodeling company, so a home and garden show is a really big deal for us. It's a massive thing for our business. And it was held at the Schaumburg Convention Center, which is where the AK Warrior Cup was held just a few years ago. Big convention center. They also held a national cheerleading competition and a national dance line competition at the same time. Absolute madness, and people were just there, and they didn't let them even sit in the ballroom. They made everyone just sit in the hallway. They were like, "Oh, wow. Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad that nobody came. We bombed as a business for our home show. It was horrible, right? Wow. But even for them, they just accepted it, right? As yep, this is just what you do, and it's nuts. It was as if you saw, I don't know, 10,000 spring breakers, in college, just camped, but they're families with kids and have 13 pounds of makeup on every single one of them, and you're like, this is nuts. How? And you just accept it like it's normal.
Right.
And then you go, well, I mean, getting to Christine, what you're saying, it's another hour. Like when you put that against that, like exactly what is another hour? All right. They have to sit through absolute madness, and we're getting there another hour early. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I think it's going to be great. So I know for me, I watched a lot of the female, open weight last year and the teams. As you know, Revolution has a lot of female fighters and competitors, and I tell you, just the competition, they were into it, and it was really cool to see just who made that top 8. Right. I think that's one of the cool things you guys do too. Is not just okay, we only see the top 4 and that's it. We still bring those top 8 up there and highlight them, and I think that's a big deal. I think that's something to realize that, hey, you made it out of all these people, right?
Right.
So highlighting, that's a big deal. And of course, I've been a big proponent of runner-up money. It's spreading out the money more for a long time. I think that's important. We're one of the only sports that don't do that. So I love it when events do that.
Yes.
Yeah, especially with your 4th, 5th, and your 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place winners.
Right.
They're all going to win $500 a piece.
That's great. That's awesome.
It's like a grand at a lot of tournaments.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the 2 third place winners win $1,000 a piece. You know what I mean? With second place getting $2,000, of course, first place getting $4,000. So we spread it along pretty good. Actually, I'm excited, and I got to tell you, and I really mean this here. To me, because of I have the Paul Mitchell team and stuff, and everybody thinks I just want to see really good competition.
Right.
So I'm just as happy for anybody who wins that money. Really am. You know what I mean? So naturally, I tell my guys that, listen, I got a lot of money out there. I want you guys to win it, but you're going to have to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everybody's going to be working. And you know what? Last year, I think Bailey won it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the year before it was Cam
Right.
because he gave Bailey
Right.
that shot and he
Right.
couldn't continue.
And I was so happy to see, Bailey win that money. I really was,
It was-
And, so it's
Bailey, Kim, and I'm trying to think, did we do it the year before?
I think it was Avery the year before.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was.
it was.
Yeah, when the All-Stars were there too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and again, this year, everybody's showing up again. So it's awesome to see. And talking to several of the guys that will be there at Kumite Classic, and just right now we have a lot of Americans traveling all over the place. Like our top level fighters are fighting more than ever, I feel like, and not just,
And I'm glad.
I mean, again, a lot of us fought regionally and we compete, every weekend. A lot of us do that, but we're talking about people flying overseas, then flying back, then going the next week back and forth. And so it's interesting just when that some of those people, when some of them want to compete overseas and they make it to your event, you're doing something right. You're doing a big deal. So that's exciting to see and to hear, to see all that. So
I think one of the best comments I had was by a few of the kids that compete that do, like the 8 divisions and forms, a couple of their parents had said to me during the year, and they said, we never even really care about the fighting or anything, but oh my God, your show was so cool. It was so, I was so into the fighting, and to hear a parent say that could normally not care about watching fighting.
Right.
And their kids not even in the divisions, and that they were really engrossed with the talent and how exciting it was. So
Yeah,
That's
it's
key
a
right
lot of fun to watch. I mean, you know what? Last year, the Paul Mitchell team fought, what was the team from Canada there?
you
well,
mean-
they fought Diamond, who's
Diamonds, right.
Canada.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
And they had some European
US.
fighters on there. But I got to tell you that what a great team fight. We lost, I think, 1 or 2 points. But
Yeah.
you know what? Cam had brought that. We were way down, and he brought us back up, and it was really exciting. Even though the other team won, it was a great team fight. It's something that I enjoyed watching. Didn't like the idea that we lost, but I really like the fight itself. How
Yeah.
can you not like it? You know what I
Exactly.
Well,
mean?
that's where you have to compartmentalize so much
Yeah.
because you have to you got 3-4 different hats that you're putting on at one time.
I am, and I try to wear them the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Mouth dog.
That's all right.
We got a dog here that's bigger than most humans.
I was gonna say that thing
Yeah.
sounds bigger than me.
Yeah, I
What
remember.
What kind of dog is that?
It's a Great Dane.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
it is bigger
and
than
They've showed it to us before. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
he has a head that's bigger than the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Just the
They're
fact
int-
that
those things
me
are
and Chris-
intimidating.
just the fact
Just
that
to
me and
look at.
Christina talking bothers him.
Right.
We're not talking to him.
Yeah, he
No,
wants
but
to.
honestly, it's funny because April 12th will
Yes, sir.
mark 58 years that I started karate.
Wow, that's so cool.
So in
That's so
just
cool.
a few short weeks, you're gonna celebrate 58
He
years.
wants to
Oh
say
my
hello.
gosh.
Come here. Come here.
There we go. Look at this guy.
Oh my goodness.
Pluto,
Pluto. Come here.
Pluto, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Mm,
If you guys are listening to this, not watching it, like go back and watch this. Oh my gosh.
I love it. I love it.
He's being a pain. Yeah,
That's
we're
awesome.
excited. I don't know if well, I stepped out for a second. If you guys talked about special guests this year.
Yeah,
We haven't, but I want to give a kudos to something you said earlier, Christine, when you said that, you had people who were just so excited
Yeah.
for the show and they didn't have anybody in the show. That's like their kids weren't participating in it. And I really think that's what we need to really have happen. I think the more people are just excited to just go there and just accept it, like, yeah, the show's happening, we're going, right? That's what we need. And so if the only reason people go is just because they're involved, then it's like a high school graduation, right? Like the moment your kid's done, you're like, all right, I'm going in the hallway because this is boring. All right. As soon as the Davidsons get called, they're not sticking around, to the Zimblers. They're gone. Right.
Oh, man.
But if you were excited to watch every part of it because of what the experience is, you'll stick around for the whole thing.
Right.
You know what's interesting? It's happened a couple of years ago. It was a couple of weeks, about a week or two after the tournament, and I was at the bank and I was in line, and there's a couple of people that were behind me, like and they said, "Hey, we enjoyed your show a couple of weeks ago." Oh, I said, "Oh, you went there?" He said, "Yeah." So he said, "Yeah, it was really, really good. Had a lot of fun watching it, and boy, those people are incredible athletes, what they can do and stuff, And so I said, "That's great." I said, "What school you guys go to?" "Oh, we don't take karate."
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's
He
awesome.
said they read about it in the paper, and they said they had to go. Now that to me was
Yeah,
gold.
that's
Well,
awesome.
I thought about this. What do you guys think about this? Because that's it right there.
It is.
Because what if there was just like local elementary schools that you were like, "Here, guys," and whatever people, and like, "Here, I just want to give you guys some tickets. There's a show that's going to happen. It's going to happen in a few weeks. We're a local karate school. We're putting on a big event. All right. It may not seem like it's going to be big. Trust me, it's going to be one of the biggest you could imagine, but I'd be honored if you guys go. Here's some free tickets." When they go, their minds are going to be absolutely blown. And if they do sign up for karate, there's only one spot they're going to now, right? And that's why I think like that's a no-brainer, right? That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, without question.
That's awesome. All right, so we got a special guest this year. Every year, it's awesome when you always have a special guest martial artist. And this year, it's someone who's right there in town now, Ross Levine. So share about that.
Russ has been going to the Ocean State almost as long as we have.
I know.
He's been there a lot, and he's had a lot of success here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And When I think about winners, it's kind of like I think him and Zolt have won the most grands there probably in fighting.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And spectacular fighter. I mean, a guy that not only in one of the reasons, the big reasons because of Zolt, because of Ross, is because he made that transition from sport karate to full contact and became very successful with it.
Yeah.
Now, not a lot of people have done that successfully. You know what I mean? But Ross has. And you know what? I remember him fighting as a junior at the Ocean State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's been around a long time, and he deserves to be recognized. He
100%.
deserves to be.
Yeah,
And,
and he's opening his school like right now too, his brand new school. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to
Yes.
see. And he'll be around, probably judging some over the weekend, and he'll be having some where people can stop by his school as well.
We are very aware of Ross opening up his school, and we're giving him a booth to advertise it. And I think he's going to have a grand opening on Sunday. So it's a special weekend for Ross. You know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah. And, he's going to be there as hopefully helping out with these open weight, divisions. We have some really great fighters that are going to help judge. So we're excited about that. He'll have a booth. And he's also a sponsor with Ocean State Collision Center every year. When we bring in a special guest, he always, and the Zangaris, they'll make T-shirts up and give them out. So I did see the T-shirts and, with Ross's picture on it and stuff. And he just gives them away. So if you want to get a free T-shirt of world champion Ross Levine, you need to stop by the Ocean State Collision booth on Saturday. Plus, we'll probably throw some out at the finals and stuff too.
Yeah, and it's funny. He's always made up about 100 T-shirts. So last year he always has the Ocean State Collision team that he sponsors, that Christine is coaching, and when he got up on stage, they had already thrown out all the T-shirts, which he didn't get a chance to throw any out. So he said, so this year I made 200 shirts up, and I already put 30 of them in a box for me to throw out.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
yeah, they're going to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ross is a true ambassador for the sport.
Yes.
He's a local legend, localish legend. He's kind of lived along the area there, but it's perfect. And if you really think about it, like, he's doing it the right way. He's vocal and respectful the right way. And he's someone that really we should do this now, because we remember when it wasn't that long ago. We still got video of it. You could YouTube him, right? But if you look up like a different guy, like when you guys had Billy Blanks there, right? He's a bigger celebrity, much bigger celebrity. But sometimes there's a disconnect, right? Like, I'm telling students of mine when Billy was there, I'm like, you know who this is, right? And they're like, no, was he a fighter? I'm like, well, yeah, he was. Yeah, okay, yes, he was a fighter, but are you serious? And then you got to explain. But I mean, what people should really do, right? And sometimes we're too prideful to do this as martial artists, but I'm being sincere. Just go take selfies with the guy. Go take pictures with the guy. Because
Right.
one point, all you're gonna have is just verbal, like, conversation memories about it. All right, get them. All right, you want to be able, like, if you saw, I don't know, like your favorite football player, and you would try to get a picture with this person. That's what he is for martial arts. And the fact that he's there, I think, is fantastic.
Well, yeah, like last year, I made sure that all of us got a picture with Pedro when he was there. It's like, hey, we're going to do that, because I don't know when, that dude's always busy.
I mean, what's the other thing? And for Pedro, what do you do? Just be like, all right, Pedro, like, but instead of like armor out, will you just put your foot right here? Just put your foot here, and we'll just pretend like I tried to block it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're absolutely right. But let me just say this too, and I think it's so important. What you guys are doing on this show is a major step forward as far as educating people of people that competed before, people that are competing now, and so forth. And the thing that we've had for many, many years, we've never had any. We don't have a past. You can't fight it
Right.
anywhere. You know what I mean?
No.
And
That's
this is helping so much.
Thank
Really.
you. Thank
So
you.
kudos to both of you for this.
Thank you. We have a lot of fun though, so you know.
No, and that's the main thing.
Always.
That's right. That's right.
Well, and,
That's right.
and I like what you said about educating people about the past, because before, like, Jeff and I had a guest on, we would do the competitors of the week, and we still do that, but that's what we kind of wanted to do. And then the moment we had Mike Pombiero on, like, I think that totally changed the trajectory of having guests on, because
Yeah.
he was so good, right?
Yeah,
That we're like,
awesome.
we got to do shows like that all the time. But that's what we wanted to do, is get on, tell stories, talk about them. All right. And then now you've got like a real person telling you, it's not just like a folklore of like through 4 people's telephone. Like, you get the true story right then and there. And so I think we just got to do that more. That was one of the things that Jerry Fontenez, also a great guest, all right, that he talked about too. Like, and he was always a big proponent of the stories and the history and the knowledge can't die with us. Let's get it out to everybody.
Right.
So
And that's key. That's key.
Absolutely.
And so last week we're doing a new thing now where we do like our top 5 favorites as far as who threw a certain technique or whatever, right? So later on we're gonna do one for 540s. But last week we talked about axe kicks, and of course your name, Christine, got brought up a lot. All right, and so let's, I know we're promoting the event, but I want to hear what was your like, you're not competing right now, like we want to know the behind the scenes, like what was the secret to your axe kick?
I kind of had gone to a lot of like Bill Wallace seminars and took his theory of, where your kick should all look, your hook kick, your round kick, your side kick should all start the same, change it at the last second where you see an opening, you starting to do a hook kick, and then you change your, the guy's hands there, so you're going to switch it to a round kick or a side kick. So I tried to take that concept and then add in the axe kick so that it looks just like a side kick coming up, but you're able to just turn your knee and drop the axe kick from that chamber, because a lot of people do a swinging axe kick with a straight leg or so yeah. And I mean, fighting with Pedro all the time. Yeah. I mean, we used to say he had roller skates on, because now, you have that where you do a push step from a slide step with your support leg, but he would just like slide all over. I'm like, we'd say, does he have roller skates on or what?
Yeah,
that's great. It's a great, yeah. I mean, and the truth is, Alex, you and I probably both. I mean, again, the way you described the axe kick is very similar to how
I do it like that.
Yeah, a lot of us. I think it very influenced, the way people did it.
Well, actually, I got something to say too.
Go ahead,
But I know I cut you off. My bad. I do that all the time.
No, it's all good.
Well, it's actually this. I've never told anybody this, right? I've literally never even verbalized these words to anybody ever. But the way like I would kick, and I was not the greatest kicker in the world, but I was pretty good. All right. So I actually modeled my kicks off of one person, it was a female, and when I would talk to her about it, she actually referenced you, Christine. All right. You might remember it or maybe not. She didn't compete at a high level for a really long time. Her name was Carrie Furstenberg. All right. And so Carrie had a chamber kind of like you, but like I remember her one time I saw her do that. I was probably a brown belt, where she like pumped a side kick and then like it just turned it into an axe kick. And it looked like a magician, just did something with her foot. And I was like, what in the world was that? Right. I want to do that. And then when I asked her about it, after she, kicked me in the face a bunch of times, I'm like, can you just show me how to do that? And she was like, oh yeah. Have you ever seen Christine Bannon Rodriguez kick like this? And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. Right. Cause like, what was it? Like 92. Right. And so I'm like, I don't know. Right. Well, wait, didn't you win the ring in 92?
Was it
you
92?
You did win the ring in 92.
Maybe.
so.
Yeah.
You stayed until 93.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was you. But anyway,
I think so.
so that, and then she kind of showed me like this is how you do it. This is how Christine does it, and this is what I do too. All right. And so, but just to have the ability to go like side kick, axe kick, other back down to side kick again, all right,
Yeah.
was key because everybody can throw 2 good kicks, all right, and change levels. Not everybody can do 3 or more. And that was like the difference maker. And I'm like, I got to do it like that. I've literally never mentioned that to anybody to say like how I kick is like essentially based off of 2 people, Carrie Furstenberg and Christine Banner Rodriguez, right?
There we go.
And,
That's
and
awesome.
what happened too is once she has it in a chambered position,
It's
she can
dangerous.
throw a hook kick,
That
down
was the,
kick,
yeah.
side kick, axe kick from that position. You know what I mean? So she, and then she puts her, when she used to put her chamber, you'd be looking at her side kick and saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now what do you do? You know? So, yeah,
I didn't execute it as well as you did because you could do it with your chamber flat. And I
Yeah.
chambered a lot like Trevor does,
Like an angle.
right? At an angle. But Trevor can get away with that because Trevor chambers so high, right? And when I'm kicking my best, like, and I can get it high, well, then it's dangerous. But as you guys know, when you're kicking and you chamber, if you lower your chamber by 3 inches, it's over now.
Yeah.
Now it's
Right.
not dangerous anymore. It's
Mhm.
so stressful to have to keep that chamber high all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and for me, I used a lot of that for honestly the same way I kick in forms that way. You know, like I have a universal chamber for my multiple kicks in forms, and that's something that's in some ways rare, not anymore, I don't think, but you know, as far as the way it started, not everyone did multiple kicks that way. So, but yeah, so I mean, I think it's key.
Who
So
would you say, Christine, is like some of your best axe kicks that you would say? Like if you were to give like a top 5, who would be in some of yours?
Oh God.
Since you were brought up,
right.
who would you put there?
Pedro, Arlene Lemus.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
Nikki
She didn't even get brought up.
Yeah,
That's a
Nikki
good
Nikki
point.
Carlson is one
Nikki
I
for sure.
both of us had in there. Yeah.
Mafia. Mafia used to have,
His axe kick was crazy.
and the Brady's.
Yep.
Yep, Alex
Anthony
Alex-
Price had a.
Oh, and yeah, Anthony
Price had
Anthony
a,
Price, but
Anthony
also
Price.
Alberto Montron.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing, I just saw
Thank
him
you.
yesterday, so that.
Oh, you did? Oh man, that's a name that I always tell people isn't brought up enough. And you know, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
me being around Mike, you know, Conroy a lot, he always talks about Alberto. And
saw
you know,
him. We saw him. He had a 70th birthday tomorrow, so we had a.
Tomorrow, happy
Little thing, yeah.
birthday.
right. That's
Thank you.
right. Oh,
Yeah, they
man.
had a surprise birthday party. I mean, if you want to call it that, I knew something was going on. You know what I mean? You know, so I just didn't know exactly when, but you know,
Right.
but it was nice to see Mike Conroy and Alberto, Chris Rappo, Steve Babcock. A lot of the original team was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was
That's
real special, real special.
That's so cool. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You know, it's a great time of the year for you. I know you're busy with everything going on with the tournament, but I think it's going to be one of the best, you know, one of the best ever.
We are
And-
looking forward to it, and
Yes.
also any of the top schools.
Yes.
We have 2 86-inch TVs that are sponsored by Ocean State Collision. Go to the top 2 schools, so or teams that come to the Ocean State. We just ask that you make sure that you're registered by Saturday morning, because you know if you're bringing in a ton of people on Sunday for the underbelts, they're not going to get counted on that because we give out the 2 TVs at the nighttime show. So
Yeah, that I tell you what, one of the best things last year was seeing Vince get that TV and then post of him put it in his car to drive back. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Yeah, that was great. So
they're big.
yeah, they're big. They're big. Oh man. Well, this has been great. Anything else that you guys want to share before you guys head out? Get some rest for your
Well, we're still giving those MVP trophies out.
Oh, yes.
Kevin Thompson.
Kevin Thompson, you know what I mean? Which you know what? I think I got my biggest compliment from that. I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. when KJ, Kevin Jr., came over to me and said, Coach, can I get one of those trophies to give to one of my students?
Yeah. That's
I said, why are you even asking me that?
right.
I said, come over here, you know. But he wanted to give one to one of his students that did really good at the tournament. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So what does the trophy look like?
You know, it's a cup. I want to say it's about what, 1.5 feet?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, about 1.5 feet high, close to, about 18 inches, 19 inches. And it's a cup designed in a certain way. And it's the Kevin Thompson Award. You know what I mean?
so any school or team that has 5 or more competitors can come and see either Don or myself, and we would give that to the coach or to the instructor, and they choose who their MVP is for their team or their school who did just outstanding that particular weekend. And so they give it to them. Sometimes they'll come over and say, so who's I'm like, I don't know who your MVP is. Who, you know, you make that decision.
That's really cool. And you got to
Yeah.
think about it. So that's so awesome for so many things. But then again, you're giving, I love that more than everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get something, because with this one, right? Let's say it's a team of 16 people. Okay. All right. Solid number, not astronomical, but it's not nothing, right? You get 16 people. One person's going to get it. Everybody knows, but everybody should know at that point, hey, listen, you're going to be super happy for whoever gets this. They're going to be the talk of their school. It's going to be the coolest thing for them. You think they're coming back next year? Of course they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've gotten letters from them and stuff thanking us for giving the award out and stuff. But for me personally, we had a special relationship with Kevin and Christine and Kevin. They entered the Hall of Fame together back in 1989. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had a long history, you know. But me and Kevin had quite a bond. He was our captain, you know, on the team. And there won't be another captain.
Right.
That's it. He's still our captain,
Yeah.
no matter what.
And that makes sense. I mean, you know,
We want to keep his name alive and his
course.
memory and his, dynamic competitiveness. And, of course, we would want to give a shout out to Paul Mitchell, who's sponsoring the Sync team divisions, and, Century and Asian World are also sponsors of the event, and the city of Warwick. So when you come in,
We had the mayor there last year for the entire show.
yeah, he stayed for the whole thing, and he's like, definitely going to be there this year.
He's a big fan.
He liked it a lot.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, I know for me, I can't wait to get there. I'll be in on Thursday and excited for another great, Ocean State Grand Nationals, and excited that I've been able to be there the past few years. And I tell you what, every year it's great competition, but also just fun, and I think that's the key thing. So.
Well, it's always great seeing you compete and be there anyways, Jeff. You know what I mean? I've been following you for many, many, many years. And you know what? I give you a lot of praise. Just want to let you know.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you hear,
As you know, our guys cheer for you when you're competing too. You know
Oh,
what
I know. I know.
Everybody cheers him. He's the people's favorite.
and if you're there on Thursday, you can get your pre-registration stuff. I'm trying to get as much out on Thursday night as I can, so you don't have to wait on Friday, and from probably like 6 to 8 on Thursday.
Okay. Awesome. And that's the key thing that that people want. So keep that up, and thank you for offering that, for the competitors. So
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Well, y'all have a great rest of your night, and happy St. Patty's Day, and
Thank you.
have a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah,
Have a great one.
What a happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Great seeing you guys again.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
thanks so much. Solid.
All right. I know.
Solid.
Awesome. always a great show, always great interviews with those guys. And it's cool to just both of them talk to them about not just their tournament, but just the love they have of the sport, and that's what's always cool. All right, you good there, Alex?
I'm golden.
Are you? Hold on.
You want to go right into it? You want to go right into it?
What to the 540s? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. All right, I was just making sure that I was able to get them out of there, so they knew. Sometimes it's a little confusing to get out of the backstage area.
So the top
All right.
540s list
Of all time.
It's,
Yeah. Woo, this is gonna be hard. Guys, start making your list now if you didn't already. I'm gonna be honest.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
dude, a lot of mine are in my head right now because
Oh, you didn't make your list.
yeah, and I was trying to make that list. Who's the other person? Oh, okay. I mean, in some ways it's easy for me, but one of the ones I kept. All right. No, sorry, that's the wrong person. All right, are you ready for this? Or do you have honorable mentions?
Ready. I'm ready to go. Insiders, are you guys ready? Start throwing in the chat. 540. The 540, which was like the first like major tricking move, right? That really kind of set off like, what is this, wizardry that you guys are doing with martial arts? So what are your top 540s? All right. I'm ready to rock.
All right, so let's go with back and forth with some honorable mentions. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
No. Yes. Okay. Ready?
I'm
go
ready.
first for one.
I don't have a lot of honorable mentions. How many honorable mentions do you have? Maybe we should do that.
I'm just.
Are you just gonna go right off the head, aren't you?
I'm just going with that. Yeah, because
All
all
right.
right. Here's one, and honestly, they could have made it in the
let's
list.
hear it.
One is DX. So for me, again, for people that don't know,
Interesting.
the 540, even
Is
though a lot of us take
actually-
Taekwondo, but really it was a Kung Fu, it was a wushu technique, right? So
I hadn't
DX
even really thought of that, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
and so DX doing a 540 was outrageous, right? I have another soft style that's on my top 5. Another one for me is
The way
someone.
DX did it is he just went straight up in the air,
Yes,
did
yeah.
it, and it was like he just only decided to rotate 540 degrees with it while he threw the kick, and then just came straight down. It was like, this is nuts.
Yeah, Jennifer Santiago was the first female.
She's the first I ever saw.
Female to land one in competition. Yeah, that
She was the
definitely-
Haley Glass of her time.
Yes,
That's a pretty dang good comparison, don't you think?
it is, especially since Haley, especially as a junior, was an amazing fighter too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Let's say DX.
All right, I'll go with
Another
I'll go if we're going back and forth.
Yeah.
I got one. David Douglas. Now, David
right.
Douglas, as far as a tricker,
Yeah,
right? He was up there with the like, all right, you're amazing. From the West Coast demo team, all right, was fantastic. Look at Brett threw in David Douglas, right? As I said, David Douglas. That's fantastic. But he's also the first person I remember seeing do a 540 split, which I think in like 99 was like the coolest thing you could do, right? So
yeah.
I just like the way that he did that. Right? It's really, really cool.
All right, another one, and honestly, he could have been on my top 5, but I'm just not going to because he can be on top 5 for a lot of other things. Carmichael Simon as someone who
That's who I got his mind.
who has a TKD and a soft style background. So you see where he can throw this in both, because he would do broadsword, do the 540 with that. Then he would do his 540 in his hard style form. And of course, the 540 is what evolved into the super combo for him, right? That's where that super combo all came off of. So, I mean, he probably easily could have been the top 5, but because of the importance of his 540, of what it created, right?
I would 1,000% agree with that. And then you can say that for a lot of other moves that, like, all right, sure, his twist is not, you know, you can name any of the guys, you know, but like his twist is not what some of these guys do now, but like when he did it, like how important was that? And then you could go down the line with some of the other ones. But I was going to say
Right.
Carmichael Simon as well. So I'm just going to go to my last honorable mention that I got, which is Matt Emig. All right. And Matt Emig, in my mind, is the cleanest tricker ever. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just when saying that, it's like, that's just nuts to say, like, it's the cleanest tricker ever. And this move is all about like, how good and clean can you do it? And I don't put him on my top 5. What the heck is my top 5? Well, wouldn't you like to know?
So I have two that are newer generation that are, again, that I feel like need to be mentioned. And one is right now, Avery Presley's 540 is so clean. It's smooth. And then the other person is her older brother, Reed Presley, has one of the cleanest and snappiest 540s I've seen. So
he does
those
have
two-
he does have a
those
pretty good
two-
one.
they have beautiful 540s. And I think, just want to give them a shout out as well.
It's very good.
Yeah. Jeremy's 540 is really sick there, Andrew. You're right. You're right. When we do a jackknife one, I know some of the people who are going to be on that list.
Oh,
yeah. All right. All
okay,
right,
I'm
are you
ready to go. Do you want me to go
Honestly,
first with my
this-
5, or you want to go?
540s are hard because everybody does it. And for a long time, from like 93 till 2001, it was probably the most
It was the most practiced,
common move you saw.
performed.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. It will take your head off. I agree. Reeds will take your head off. So, all right.
I got some people on my list I think could be a little bit better.
All right,
So
are you
should I
ready
go,
for-
or do you want me to do my 5, or do you want to do yours first?
Let me do, you go yours.
I'll go mine first. Okay, mine, and I have them numbered at number 5. I think is just as a performer, just so far ahead of his time. Where just like his stuff didn't make sense to people. I don't think people really understood what they were seeing when they watched him do his form, and that's Steve Tirada. All right, Steve Tirada is also one of my favorites, like as well.
Yeah.
So when Steve would do his, didn't just have the 540. He would do the side swipe, the snappy swipe, and beyond.
Those are
You're
different.
giving me a look. You don't like this pick, but I think he is in the top 5.
No, I'm not saying I don't like the pick. I'm just saying you're
Those are
mentioning
different
other-
moves. Those are
you're
different
mentioning
moves.
other-
I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
those things aren't possible without this thing.
Oh, I
okay?
agree. I agree.
Now, as a 540, and as the kick itself at number 4, I got Mike Gorelli.
Oh,
No.
that's a good one.
Mike Gorelli's
He did have
was
a,
so good because he could do different types of 540s too. Clearly justified. He could do the lay down 540. He could go straight up with the 540. He could do the 540 with the knees touching where you twist. All right. He was very good, very clean, always stuck his landings right into strikes, whether it was with his open forms or with commas. All right.
Yeah.
Number 3, we're going back to the West Coast. Chris Devera.
oh yeah. Well, see,
Chris-
he was someone I was talking about earlier. I mean, but go ahead.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah, his
Devera.
540 was sick,
One of the
yeah.
coolest things I remember seeing at Chris Devera, but this is another thing where people I'm looking at, right? I think Chris Devera at one point was probably, it's gonna sound stupid to compare, but he was probably like the Michael Guthrie at that time in like the early 2000s, before there was like people tricked that way, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't put it together in a very good way. Like I remember watching him do a form where he did a 540 with his right leg. He would just stop and then did a 540 with his left leg. And you're like, all right,
Yeah.
that's nuts for
Yeah.
all of us who would watch trick battles, right? But when you do it in a
Yeah,
form,
that's-
it doesn't look cool the way you do it in a form, right? But if you look at it isolated, you'd be like, did he just do it both ways? Right?
yeah.
And yeah, you're right, Andrew. Like he had an amazing jackknife too.
Yeah, I agreed. That was what I was going to say.
Number 2, I can picture it every single time I say the word 540, is John Valera, right?
Of course.
John Valera, so dang good. The way he elevated, he'd lift the left leg up, he'd finish the 540 and still have space before he landed. And that's key. When you do the 540, like if you're landing right as you're finishing your rotation, you're not high enough. You got to elevate. And I think the coolest one for me, number one, very short-lived high-level competition career is Arnold Chon.
Oh God, I can't believe that's not on my list. Yeah, that's a great one. Arnold Chon's 540 was awesome.
I'm pretty heavy on the West Coast with my list. You know, I got a couple out east, but
I mean, I guess now he's West Coast. He's, you know, I mean, both those guys are Virginia, Maryland that you have as your number one, number two. So, but you know, whatever. John and Arnold are both DMV people, guys. All right?
yeah.
But
Well, I was also thinking because of David as well. And you know what I thought about, like I could have had in my honorable mention was Kim Do, right? He was very good, but I just think
Yeah.
as a move, I just don't think he was as good at that move as
I'll
some
be
of the
honest, this is a really hard one because there's so many different people that had great ones, right?
right.
So, so again, for me, another one clicked on me for honorable mention. I just feel like to me it was the first one that I saw, and that was Stephen Ho. Stephen Ho was one of the first ones I
Oh.
remember doing 540s. So that was a big one. All right. Number 5. This one, it may not have been the best 540, but I will never forget, and it's the first person I ever saw do a 540 land 540. Okay, like you land on the same leg and then you do another half rotation to on the
So-
other.
so
And
crazy.
that was Jeff Durbin. Okay, and Jeff Durbin's 540
Totally
to
forgot.
me
You're right. You're right.
was
That's
insane, and it was just, and it stood out, and it was clean, it was powerful. So I love that. I had to give him a shout out. Number 40.
and that's like the way that the tricking style then was like
Yeah.
jump straight up.
Yeah.
Jump straight up.
Right.
What not as efficient as the way trickers are today,
Right.
but like in some of the ways, like the tricking then, some of the guys today can't do that.
No, a lot of people don't know how to jump off 2 feet anymore. Like pop tricks are kind of
As wild as
Yeah.
that is.
yeah.
right?
So, all right. So Jeff Durbin. Number 4 for me is, we'll go West Coast, Jimmy Pham. The style of his 540, the way that he was able to combo the 540, like doing, of course, his 540 hook to aerial is one of the cleanest ever. But again, the 540 land side kick into an aerial is just still something you don't see, right? And so the way that he was able to do it with flavor, with flair, with just the style that Jimmy Pham has is unlike anyone. So he would be there. Another one for me is Daniel Sterling, number 3. Daniel Sterling always had a
Oh,
40, clean, powerful. Everything Daniel did was powerful.
everything he did was
So-
clean.
Number 2 for me, I'm going to go with the soft style side, and I will never forget this, is Ming Lu's 540 into her split. And yeah, it's into a split still, the 540. To me, it's probably one of the most dynamic moves that I just won't forget the first time seeing that, you know.
Well, and
And
the way
watching
you
that
do
even
it,
to this day, I clicked on it, watched it last week after we said this, and it's just still, it's like it gets my heart like, whoa, like just the way it was and the way she stuck it in her eyes, it was just insane. Ming Lu was sick.
well, I think we can acknowledge it's harder to
Yeah.
do a Chinese style 540, right? Because you're and sometimes
Traveling a
kicking the
lot.
hand like we do crescent kicks in Taekwondo, right? Did you guys do crescent kicks in Taekwondo and kick your hand? Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
We did those warm-ups.
And,
Right.
and
And sometimes they would do that in Chinese styles with the 540. And be like, all right, come on now. This is nuts. Right.
yeah, it's sick. And so she's number 1 goes to, he was on your list, John Blair, to me, the number 1 540,
Yeah.
because he had the way he could be so smooth with the 540 to just a regular 540. But he was
Right.
also the first person to do 540 to the knee, and the way it was done, still people don't do it to this day, like the way that was so smooth, right? And it was crazy the way he did it, where he landed and then he went right here to this without, a lot of people start doing it, putting their hands down to brace themselves. No,
Mm-mm.
he did it the first way, the 540 to this. And yeah, there may have been some times where he, stumbled, because that's freaking hard.
It's
The core
hard.
strength.
It's way
Yeah.
harder to do that than to than to stick it into a solid based wide front stance with a strike where all your weight is spread out and positioned perfectly for balance. And the way some people would do it and try to make it look like the way John did is they would land, then turn and go into that. And he didn't do that. He finished, he would finish the kick and then crank his shoulders around and land in that position. So hard to do. So hard.
So hard. Yeah. So
I like to see some people do some of this.
yeah.
Just get rid of the creative division and just make it this stuff. Just get rid of it.
Just a kicking division. Anyways,
Yeah.
again, we were that close. We did have one person the same, but I feel like I knew that this one was going to be a lot more different, just because it's hard, man. Everyone has different flavor. And there's still people I'm thinking right now, dang, they should have been on my list. Dang, they should have been on my list.
Who else are you thinking? Because
I mean,
I thought
like again, Arnold is someone who I would think should be on my list, right?
what did you think about Atkins?
Oh, another one that was always good. I love watching was Ben Brown had an awesome 540.
That's
540
true. He was pretty clean.
Yeah, he was clean. Who'd you say? Anthony Atkins? But I just don't remember he did so many other things. I don't remember his 540.
That's what I was thinking. He did so many other things that were so good. But I remember processing and going through that and like, was he that good that I'm just like overshadowing it because of everything else that he did? And no, like when we get to doing double legs, like he'll be on that one. Right?
Yeah, he'll be on that one. Definitely. Yeah. So lots of good ones. And yeah, I mean, there's so many that probably could be mentioned. We could probably do a whole nother one too.
Yeah, like I thought about Chat. I just don't think Chats was as good,
Right. Yeah, no. I think there's some other high level ones like that could be on there from from NBL, from lots
really
of
I think the only one that I think Marcel Jones might be the only one that I was like, okay, maybe that one was.
Yeah, he could. I saw Marcel usually doing creative for a long time, so we didn't see him do the 540, right?
I know.
That wasn't allowed. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to that. My Pop 720 was my thing. All right.
I was because we mentioned this, I was goofing around the school one time. This is years ago, right? I'm goofing around the school and I did like a Pop 720 and people were like, because there was some kids that were like, yo, did you just jump off 2 feet, spin twice? I'm like, this is a 720, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, that's still so hard. And I'm like, don't you do double corks?
Right.
Don't you do double corks? What? Huh?
Yeah, true. I say he had. Oh, Jonathan was talking about Mackenzie Emery, hers 540, always clean. Yep.
Yeah, Mackenzie was good.
Yeah, Mackenzie's was good. So lots of great 540 talk here. And again, we're probably missing out some of the guys right now that have great ones as well. I think it's harder because some don't start the combos with those anymore like we used to. Some we don't see their natural 540. We see them do it to a knee most of the time. If they're going to do a 540, now they're doing it in creative. And again, I'm sorry,
ended early.
But creative, you should be able to do a 540 on a single leg. Sorry, and by now we should be able to do that, right? Pop 720s and 540s should be allowed, but whatever.
But the creative division itself. Okay, if anybody who's listened more than 2 episodes know I hate the creative division. I think it's stupid. I think it makes you worse at martial arts. All right. We should just get rid of the dang division and make it. That's not like people do creative and then don't do extreme.
Right.
Still same people.
There are people that do that, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like really, for the most part, it's not that much. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
It's pointless.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about that. We've had a great show. Let's give some shout out. There's a lot of people that had big tournaments over the weekend. Marty and Keith McKinley both had 2 great events this weekend. who else had tournaments, guys, that you went to? There was a lot of events this weekend, so make sure you give the shout out. I know the Mat Tour, the Canes, and the new group up there had a tournament up there. I know Andrew was up there for that. There was a huge AAU Taekwondo tournament in Michigan, so sure, there's lots to talk about that. They had. You remember how we said the other day, and I wrote about it in here, was that, we talked about the Italian World Cup, right? That we said, okay, they announced they had 3,500 registrations. What that means over there is divisions entered, right? So they had 2,000
Which
competitors.
is good. That matters.
No, but 2,000 competitors with 3,500, divisions entered. So this AAU Taekwondo tournament had 700 competitors with 4,000 divisions entered. So like, what I'm saying? Like, imagine that, right? Like, it's insane just how much, activity each person did and competed in at this big event, and they did it all in one day. So, again, the big shout out to that promoter, Alexander Covert. He's doing big things in AAU Taekwondo and trying to grow the sport in Michigan. So,
then what would you rather have? Would you rather have 700 competitors with 4,000 registrations, or would you rather have 2,000 competitors with 3,500? I mean, obviously, you want the higher registrations. So I guess the question is,
let's say
would
it's
you
probably
rather
easier
have?
to handle. Is it easier to handle the 700 competitors?
I actually think maybe the other way around. Because think about it. If you have 700 people that have to juggle between these 4,000 now you just logistically put yourself in a big bottleneck. Whereas if all you have is 2,000 competitors and 2,000 divisions,
doing like two, right.
Then it's just like everybody just does one division. That's it, right? That's easier to manage. There's no reason to wait for anyone for anything ever, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different ways to look at it,
I always want more bodies. I think more bodies is good.
I mean, there's lots of different ways to look at it, I mean, more bodies equals you got to pay more for a venue. So bigger venue and more stuff.
100%. I get that. It's the same thing with like martial arts school owners. Like, would you rather have 150 students paying $200 a month?
Yep.
Or would you rather have 300 students
paying
$100 a month, or 150? Like, I'd rather have more students. I always would rather have more.
Yeah.
In some ways, and there's arguments for one over the other.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how well you can actually handle that, right? If you can't, do you want quality or do you want quantity?
And that's you're right, and that's where it's like, I personally always want more because I typically run that, right?
Right.
So just because I gave the karate school example, like if I'm running a 50, 60 person class, I am okay with that. Right?
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that the same.
You do that, correct.
So to recreate yourself every time is not always possible.
Right.
That much I do get.
Correct. Yeah. So, all right. So big events, lots of great, just sport karate, sport martial arts success going on this weekend. Congrats to everyone that had big weekends, big tournaments. I know that the new ladies from Revolution won out there at Marty Eubanks tournament. Congrats to them. Katsuska and Yorgi, again, having another great weekend with training hard and winning again. They'll be getting ready for Ocean State. Brett, who won the Open or the championship at Philly Pro-Am?
Yeah.
For men's and women's.
And while we're waiting for Brett, hey guys, we do have
an
inside scoop bracket, right? NCAA bracket. So if you guys want in, let me know. I'm easy to find. I'll send you the link, and then you can come in. The only rule is
You
Jeff
don't
is
have a
not
fixed-
allowed to win. Jeff is not allowed to win. So I want as many people to enter as possible. That way, there's more opportunities for someone to beat Jeff.
Did you already finish your bracket?
I didn't. Oh, I have 2 brackets. That's all. I finished one of them, but that was for a different one.
Oh, I
I
did
think
mine.
the games start. When did the games start? Thursday?
No. The qualifying ones start like tomorrow or Wednesday.
What? The play-ins? You mean the play-ins?
Plans, yeah.
Oh no, I'm looking right
I
now.
know
man.
you-
In like
UNC
2
is-
days. Yeah, like 2
UNC
days.
is in a playing game. All right.
That's not crazy.
Soka won women's. Akin won 40 plus. Ant won 30 plus. And he's saying he may have won 18 plus. Not sure. He left before that. So congrats to all those guys. If you know some more details, guys, about that, give him a shout out. Brett, I know he won a grand as well. So congrats, my friend. What this weekend I'm going to AAU Taekwondo qualifier in Maryland. So we got Matthew from K-Tot won junior forms and he won the men's forms. Awesome, Brett. So I'll be at that event in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So excited to see a couple of different people there, not just of course, love to see the area and the Taekwondo competitors there, but there's also some guys from the open circuit. They're going to be joining as well this weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And, I have a big group. I have 13, 14 competitors coming from Virginia all the way up there. And my nephew's competing, my son, everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
Hey, you're doing the Grand Slam? Did you say this June?
yeah, Grand Slam experience going to be June 22nd. And we've been
Oh,
working a
next
lot on
Sunday?
that today. What was that?
That's a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. We're going to do a Sunday afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun, a different type of event. And just finalizing everything and getting that set up. We'll have the registration and flyers and all that out soon for everybody. So if you haven't marked that on your calendar, June 22nd.
Looking
Grand
at my
Slam.
calendar right now.
What is this?
Okay.
What? Heading to STK Master of the Ring Martial Arts Tournament in St. Mary. Okay. Yeah, I know a couple people going there as well this weekend. So
Hey, someone
All right.
earlier in the chat was asking a question about like how do you get on a team? I can't remember. I think it was Christy. Christy,
Yeah.
if Christy's still in the chat, I don't know. Right? About how to get on a team. Just win, baby. All right. That's all. That's literally all there is. But
show up,
focus
go out
on
and win.
focus on your division, right? Focus on your division and analyze your division. Like, can I beat the people in my division? The answer is yes, we all can. What does it take to beat the people in your division? Handle that. And then once you do that, stop trying to get on a team. Because there has to be the right fit. Not every team is best for everybody. So if your goal and your focus is just to get on a team, it may not be a great goal.
Right. So awesome. All right, man.
You asked me if I made my picks. Did you make your bracket?
Yeah, I did that as soon as it came out. I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was done in like
Who do you got? Who do you got winning it? I got to make sure I pick something different.
Duke. I have Duke on it.
I mean, it's not bad, but like, here's the problem with that though, because Cooper Flag is the
He's a hooky
consensus.
guy.
Like
Yeah.
he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Okay.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be the number. How many times is the number 1 like the consensus? Like this guy's gonna be the number 1 pick in the draft. Have they won the tournament? I don't know. Did Derrick Rose? No, Derrick Rose didn't win. He didn't. He didn't win an NBA or NCAA title. I don't think he did. Dude, was it like Carmelo Anthony back then? No, I think Anthony Davis won one.
Yeah, but he was a number 3 pick. Remember
Who?
Carmelo Anthony. He wasn't a number 1 pick.
I mean, yeah, I know.
You mean the number 1 player in the
the number 1 player, but yeah, that's like the number 1 player. Like when are they like really?
I mean, it happened a lot back, before. I mean, because like Jason Williams and those guys and stuff. Yeah, AD won.
Yeah, Anthony Davis did win one. Okay, yeah. So that was like what 2012.
Right.
So, yeah, I think Odds are on my side. You're not going to win.
That's fine.
Just as long as I can get enough in there.
RMU. All right.
Michigan State's got a high. They got a high seed. They're a number 2 seed, man.
There's a lot of local teams like Virginia and North Carolina teams that I always cheer for. Well, Liberty is in there, so our local team is in there. I just hope they get a win. That would be great to see them get a win. You know, UNC Wilmington's always a team I like. VCU. So many.
What are some sleeper teams that like you just kind of like people that went
Always.
to that school that you're like, oh, this is always kind of fun. They made the tournament. I'll cheer for them.
Yeah, I mean there's I mean like some of those would be, you know, a Wofford is someone that I think I always kind of like. There's certain teams that I'm just always going to, if I ever go against them at all, they're gonna at least make a run somehow, and that would be Michigan State and UConn, right? Like I don't care, UConn's a number 8 team
Those are
right now.
powerhouse schools. What are you talking about?
Yes, but dude,
Lottery
sometimes
picks go to those schools.
right. But here's the deal: even when they have a crappy year, like they're 8th or 9th seed, somehow they'll end up winning that year. You know, like,
Well, all
like wait, what? You know, like those are teams like that I'm just saying, like they're gonna make a run somehow, no matter how low they are, how bad they are, right? I can't go against them. But then you have a team like, for me, like a VCU, you know, a Drake is always a, you know, interesting one. You know,
Drake.
yeah, that's Drake. You know, of course,
I actually had a buddy of mine who went to Drake.
I mean, there's schools like that. You know, for me, VCU, I used to always like anytime Winthrop was in the tournament, I would make sure they would get a win. I would make sure. I mean, I would pick them to get a win.
Colorado is always a pretty good school. Like I like them, but you know what it is for me is Montana, right? Which is not because my buddy went to Montana,
New Mexico.
when they were in the tournament.
Right.
They were like a 15 seed, so they got spanked by Oregon. You know, like the
Yeah.
Luke Ridnour Oregon, right? But when I went there and was like, once you go there, because he went there, he was a baller, so he just took me everywhere because he was a good player, right? He played all the way through his senior year, so he's like, yeah, we can go anywhere we want to go. We can do anything we want to do because it's Montana. It's not Ohio State, right? So I got to meet the head coach. I got to talk to him. I got to sit in and watch practices and like things like that. So now I'm in. I'm like, all right, let me go get myself a Montana hoodie and cheer for these guys because now I'm into it. But they're playing Wisconsin. Wisconsin's too good of a program.
And I feel like sometimes too, you got to give it to one of these like really smart schools, you know, like sometimes somehow
like Creighton.
Yeah, or like Yale, like no,
you did not. No, you did not actually think Yale is gonna go deep. What's wrong?
I didn't say deep, but sometimes they'll get a win. Some of
you
these
don't think they're gonna make it out of the first round. What are they like?
I think they're only like a 12th or 13th seed. They're not that low. Pretty good.
I mean, somebody that low, like there's gonna be a 14 that's gonna win, sure, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man.
You're not going to do that.
I'm not picking Yale.
I didn't say it. You had to pick Yale. I'm just saying.
You're not. Let's be honest. You're not going to pick Yale.
No, I don't think they're going to beat Texas A&M. But I mean, but no, Yale's 13, so that's not bad. There's just some like a New Mexico. They're usually almost always a 10th seed.
Isn't that weird? That like there's like some schools that like it doesn't matter their record. They're never getting higher than a 7.
Right.
You know?
Well, you got like a Colorado.
Like, haven't I seen Alabama at 8 seed for like ever?
Yeah, Drake is a number 11. I'm picking them. They always somehow do well. UNC is the number 13.
Who they matched up against?
Missouri. There's a lot of these teams that are okay, but they always lose out in the tournament with the pressure. You know, even like in Arkansas, a lot of times it's like at a 10. Like it's weird. I think you got American University in there.
All right.
Liberty is going against Oregon, so I'm picking Liberty. Just
Liberty.
Liberty, yeah. And then you got BYU. BYU versus VCU. That's an interesting one. That's going to be an interesting one.
So check this out, and then we should probably wrap it up because we have totally
should.
changed dynamics of the
We're gonna
show.
go home. Go to bed.
So, buddy of mine. So, have you ever been to one of these things before, like a diaper bar party? Have you ever done one of these? Don't look at me like I got two heads. Hang on. So
What?
here's how it goes, right? For like women, if they're like pregnant, they're gonna have a baby. They have a baby
Oh,
shower.
okay.
Right?
Yes.
The
all right.
guys have a alternative. What they do is it's called a diaper bar party. It's where you go to yada da da bar, and then all the guys just show up with a big thing of diapers, and then boom, here you go. And so then there's no fluff. You don't wrap nothing, right? No, you don't even talk about it, right? You just go put all this case of diapers in the corner, and then the guy leaves with a year's supply of diapers. It's cool, right? And then you split. Everyone just splits the guy's bill, so he doesn't have to pay for anything. It's really cool. So
Okay.
the guys were talking about it, and they're like, "Oh man, it's going to be the first day of the NCAA tournament, so I'm just going to host it at my house." So you're like, "Oh, it'll be cool." So you won't have we'll save on money. You won't have to buy all the drinks. So what that translates to, I bought all the drinks, and if we had like 4 parties, I'd still have enough, right? So it's just how I do things. So
Yeah.
then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, we got one TV in the living room. There's gonna be 4 games going on at once. I'm gonna need 3 more TVs. So I got 3 more TVs.
Yo,
So
you know.
we're gonna literally make it like,
Oh
Drew-
my god.
yeah. And then Lindsay's gonna take the kids, and she's gonna leave and go to her mom's. So we ain't got to worry about being quiet.
Wow.
That's the other thing. When you're in your 40s and you're gonna hang out at someone's house, be like, you coming over to my house? You can't come to my house.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
kids, get out of my house, right?
Correct.
And I don't want to go to your house. I don't want to get yelled at, right? So that's the way it is, right?
Oh,
You can
that's-
never really go to anyone's house. Like, I don't have friends at my house. I get
Right.
kids in my house. I can't
Right.
go to his house. He's got kids there, right? So now everybody can just come, and nobody's got to get a sitter because their wives are at home with their own kids. How easy is that?
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, guys. We will see you next week. It's going to be a great show next week. And
Oh, wait, our move.
yeah, what's the move next week?
I
So we
have an
did
idea.
forms.
Okay.
What?
I got an idea. Tell me what you think about this one. Okay. A fighting spinning hook kick.
Fighting spinning hook kick. Yeah.
Spinning hook kick.
All right. Yep. Let's do it.
You good with that one?
Yep.
Spinning hook kick is going to be a good one, guys. I'm stoked about it.
All right. See you guys next week.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Peace, guys.